Okay, let's jump right into this explainer. Look, if you're tackling the Cambridge AS and A-level Accounting 9706 syllabus, you already know the deal. The double entry system and the accounting equation, they are the absolute bedrock. I mean, this topic literally appears in every single Cambridge exam series, without fail. So getting a bulletproof grasp on it isn't just helpful, it's absolutely crucial for your success. Today, we're acting as your personal examiner coach. We're going way beyond just, balancing debits and credits. We're going to look at exactly how to dissect these exam questions, deploy the right strategies, and unlock those top-tier marking bands.
Our strategic roadmap for today covers mastering core principles, the technical methodology, crucial examiner warnings, and finally, acing critical analysis.
All right, Section 1, Mastering Core Principles. Let's see how the examiners actually measure your understanding.
To really crush this exam, you've got to show mastery across 3 totally distinct cognitive domains. We're talking knowledge and understanding, analysis, and evaluation. It is never, and I mean never, enough to just memorize a textbook definition of an asset or liability. You have to prove that your conceptual understanding is deeply connected and, more importantly, transferable to completely unfamiliar, weird exam contexts.
Here's the thing. The examiners aren't looking for a basic brain dump of everything you've ever heard about accounting. Seriously, don't do that. They demand evidence-based reasoning. They want analytical depth over superficial breadth. Basically, they want to see the gears turning in your head. They want to see exactly how you think through the numbers to maintain that perfect, delicate balance across the accounting equation.
Moving on to Section 2, the technical methodology. Okay, every complex double-entry problem you face requires a really strict, standardized 5-step sequence. First up, identify the elements, like are we dealing with an asset, a liability, or equity? Next, apply the principles. Think about the dual effect of transactions. Then, you execute the analysis, verify your results, and finally, present the appropriate formats. And here's a massive pro tip. Showing clear working during that execution phase is exactly how you trigger the method mark strategy. By making your systematic processing of debits and credits totally visible, you secure incredibly valuable points. Even if your final calculated number ends up being slightly off, you still get credit for your logic.
But you must strictly follow presentation conventions. We're talking proper headings, correct terminology, appropriate formats, and crystal clear annotation. When you're pulling data from a dense text to, say, set up a trial balance or a ledger account, following these exact rules is how you prove your professional data interpretation skills to the examiner.
Let's pivot to Section 3, Crucial Examiner Warnings. This is where we learn from past mistakes.
So the principal examiners have put out a massive red flag. They explicitly state, and I quote, "Answers are often too vague. Candidates consistently confuse key terminology." Guys, this is a huge warning. A lack of precision will immediately cap your score. They are practically begging candidates to just be specific.
This right here is the line in the sand between an average paper and an absolute standout. Vague, generic answers, they just won't hit the mark. The top candidates don't just state memorized textbook facts. Instead, they take specific details and apply them directly to the unique context of whatever business scenario the exam threw at them. If you leave out the specific context, you are literally just leaving easy points on the table. And to completely dodge that terminology trap, you have to build a habit. Explicitly define your terms before you start building your extended arguments. Set the stage. Show the examiner you actually know the vocabulary. For example, explicitly define what specific depreciation method you're evaluating before you even start crunching the numbers for the expense. Define it, then apply it. Oh, and please never forget the examiner's final warning in this area. Forgetting to verify your final format and presentation. Imagine doing all that insanely hard mathematical processing, getting the numbers right, but then failing to double-check your formatting? That will cost you incredibly easy marks. Don't trip at the finish line. Always take that final few seconds to verify your layout.
Finally, Section 4, Acing Critical Analysis. This is where we unlock the highest marks.
To reach those elite top bands, evaluative thinking is non-negotiable. What does that mean? Well, it means questioning assumptions, considering totally different perspectives, and justifying every single decision with hard evidence. Top-scoring candidates elevate their answers by actively pushing back, like asking if a business's current inventory valuation method is actually appropriate for their situation. And then they justify that analytical decision with evidence extracted straight from the exam prompt.
Now, when a question demands comparative analysis, you can't just look at one side of the coin. You must explicitly explore both similarities and differences. And you've got to use comparative connectives to smoothly link your evidence together, showing the examiner exactly how these different data points interact and relate to one another.
Once you've mapped out that comparison, you arrive at synthesis. You take that perfectly balanced comparison and you synthesize your findings to draw a definitive, evidence-backed conclusion about the relative importance of what you've just uncovered. This is your so what moment. Tell the examiner exactly why your findings actually matter in the grand scheme of the question.
So as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a challenge. Will you deploy this methodology to capture every single possible method mark next time? I really encourage you to look at your next practice pass paper, not just as a math problem, but as a golden opportunity to systematically apply this exact examiner framework. Try it out and watch your scores shift. Catch you in the next explainer.